Okay, so are you ready for more Batman the Animated Series? I know I am. We're about to watch Harley and Ivy, which is probably one of the most important episodes of the series, actually, because it featured the first time that Harley Quinn met Poison Ivy. So yeah, that wound up becoming very important for both of these characters who their relationship took a few interesting turns. It's now a romantic relationship. Uh but I I honestly kind of think that they kind of were purposely hinting towards them being involved in a romantic slash sexual way in this episode, and certainly in some of the comics and episodes that followed they hinted at that. And controversial opinion, I think it worked better when they just kind of hinted at it, because then you just kind of there was a little more intrigue to it, I think. you know and it's honestly, I always thought that it was there. I always picked up on it. So it wasn't like the sort of thing where I was like, well, they shouldn't have had them become a couple. No, I always kind of figured they were kind of a couple. But I guess what I'm saying is I didn't need to have it confirmed, and it was more interesting to me before it was confirmed. But that's just me. I don't have a problem with anything that they've done in that regard since. And I know lots of people like it, so that's fine. And I can always go back and reread those earlier comics where it was or the other you watch the earlier episodes where it was more something that was sort of hinted at. I just think it worked better that way. That's just me personally. But I'm old school in a lot of ways as far as like the comic book characters go. But yeah, so that's how that is. Let's go ahead and watch the episode. There's like a whole Harley Quinn animated series that's on HBO Max, and beyond the first episode, I've never watched any of it. And I actually enjoyed the first episode when I watched it, so it wasn't like I decided not to watch any more of it. But there was something that happened in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in that it was just like this whole big kerfuffle over that episode. And then I think I kind of lost interest because of that, just because of I don't want to get too into the details of it, and you're probably not that interested in the details of it. But the whole thing just kind of turned me off of the show, having nothing to do with the show. Just sometimes how things can affect your enjoyment of a movie or show or something that don't really have anything to do with that. And there's a really nice title card with the colors of the characters and kind of a vague design. Written by Paul Dini, directed by Boyd Kirkland. I didn't have time to read it, but I knew it. I've seen this episode enough times. This is probably one of my most rewatched episodes. There went a fluey Batmobile, and there went people getting into a crash because of Batman chasing the Joker. He's just so casual. I'll say this again. This is the Joker as I like him. A lot of people will say this is the best episode or the best version of the Joker, and I'd be hard pressed to disagree to say that it's the best version of the Joker. But it's certainly the Joker as I like him. I will absolutely say that. Okay, you're the boss. Have you ever been in that situation where the boss is trying to tell you to do something really stupid, and you're like, hey, boss, that's kind of stupid. We don't want to do that. And he's like, I'm the boss. You do what I tell you to do. And you're like, okay. And you do it. And then he realizes that he told you to do something really stupid, but he doesn't want to admit that he told you to do really something really stupid. It's like, oh, why did you do that? Well, you told me to do it. No, I didn't. I would have never told you to do something so stupid. Okay. I'm just saying we can all kind of relate to Harley in that situation. I know I can. Score's really good in this episode. Da, 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 da. If I mention this is one of my most rewatched episodes, it's one of my most rewatched episodes. Good animation on that Batmobile tire. Come on! Uh-oh. Leaves Batman in kind of an awkward spot. And there will be a next time. No, we didn't get the diamond. The Dork Knight showed up before we even got Dork Knight. And you made a wrong gun. There's Bud and Lou. The babies. That reminds me, I need to watch Annabelle and Costello Meet Frankenstein sometime soon. We're already almost all the way through October. There's still so many more monster movies I want to watch. God, the acting is so good there. The Joker being so threatening. He can be funny, and he can be menacing, and like I said, this is just the Joker as I like him. I always think of Denny O'Neil's quote, which I'm sure I've said on this show before. He will kill you because he doesn't like the color of your shoes, or he will give you $50,000 also because he doesn't like the color of your shoes. So he throws Harley out on her keister. I like that little music cue. And then she's instantly dejected. Aww. She walks off so sadly. And I think that's why this character appealed to a lot of people, is because even though she worked with the Joker and did some pretty evil things, there's like a certain sympathetic quality that Harley has. Like, she does what she does because she's in love with the Joker, to the point where it makes her completely irrational. But it's kind of cool to see her like pulling this meticulous jewel heist that would have been worthy of Catwoman. And if it hadn't been for Poison Ivy setting off the alarm, she probably would have gotten away with it. Well, I mean, she does get away with it, but you know what I mean. The cops wouldn't have showed up or anything. So think about this. Harley's appeared in more episodes so far than Poison Ivy. And we've seen all of Poison Ivy's crimes. So she's been in like 3 episodes so far, I think. So that's 3 crimes. And I think Harley's been in a few more than Poison Ivy. Yeah, working with the Joker. But I do think she's a bit more of an experienced criminal. Also remember that when we first see Harley Quinn, she's already established. When we first see Poison Ivy, it's her first crime. So I would think Harley would have had at least one adventure with the Joker, at least one. We know that she broke him out of Arkham Asylum. We find that out later anyway. So she's actually been around the block a few more times than Ivy as far as being a criminal goes. Funny to think about that, but it's true. I've got to imagine that's kind of a Batman 89 reference with a get in the car. Which one? And these two have already realized they're a pretty good team. They work together pretty well. Which that was first established, of course, in Almost Got Him, that Harley is immune. Ivy is immune to poisons. And as I pointed out in that episode, technically that's the first time they're in an episode together, but they don't actually interact. Typical thing that's said by victims in the abusive relationship. And Ivy's totally going to call her on it. Okay. That's a great line. Paragonators Club. We remember that from the first episode that Harley appeared in, don't we? Oh, outrageous.
Now I ask you, what kind of adventurers refuse to admit women?
Rabble, 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 rabble. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
If it's excitement you boys.
There really had never been like a feminist kind of angle to Poison Ivy before. She was always kind of more of a seductress kind of character. And it makes sense given the costume. I'd already pointed out there's kind of parallels to like Adam and Eve and stuff with Poison Ivy. But it very much became an aspect of her character after this. New Queens of Crime. And they're just kind of lounging around Ivy's place in her. She's wearing a t-shirt, and Harley's just wearing a button-up shirt. And I like to think that this is actual music that Ivy's playing in this scene. Like it sounds like music people would play for their plants. You know how like plants can hear music. So you're supposed to play like nice, calm, soothing music that your plants would enjoy. I don't have any plants, but they would probably listen to a lot more like rock and roll music if it was me. And we see here like Joker's actually even forgotten that he threw Harley out.
Anybody see my spot? Harley!
He is not a mentally stable individual.
What's the
And now you got the Joker in his underwear and a tank top, and so she's always come back to full. Oh,
This means the fake thing. What are you trying?
and one of the things I like about Mark Hamill's Joker, and he has that in common with Cesar Romero also, is that he's got like this kind of like mid-Atlantic accent thing going on. And of course, a mid-Atlantic accent is not a natural accent. It's an accent that's like a learned accent that you know, high society would teach to themselves. Like you know, think about like the Kennedys. There's a little bit of a mid-Atlantic sort of flavor to Boston accents. And here's where these dorks are hitting on them.
Excuse me, boy. Didn't your mommies tell you that's not the nice way to get a baby's attention? Oh, and what are you gonna do? Bank us?
Huh. Kind of a disproportionate response, but okay. They probably just shouldn't have been hitting on supervillains. Like, I would think even if you didn't specifically recognize, oh, that's Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, you'd probably look at these women in these strange outfits and be like, I think they're supervillains. Also, another thing that you should notice is Harley, when we see her without her jester's motley on, she's got her hair up in a ponytail. And later on, you'll see that Harley usually, when she's got her jester's motley off, she usually has the pigtails, but they haven't established that yet. Oh, there she goes to call the Joker. Just wanted to hear his voice.
Baby, you know I can't hold it back. Where are you? With a friend, but I can't talk. I wanted to let you know I'm at home. Oh, I go. I'll talk to you soon.
But now you see what I'm talking about with that sort of like it's a very one-sided relationship between those two.
Playtime over. There we go, Harley. Look who's coming for me. Looks like he's got it. Looks like. Poor man. All tossed down. No place to go.
I think she's colored with like a slightly darker skin color than most of the Caucasian characters on this show. But when they did the comic book, they gave her like really dark tan skin. But you can see if you compare her next to Batman, like her skin color is like slightly more tan than Batman's.
We'll carve it on your headstone.
I don't know if maybe they intended her to be like Latina or something like that, maybe.
Haven't you been busy?
There's the Joker.
So we just made
Rocco and Henshaw. And you remember how Ivy had mainly these vegetarian meals, and here they've just got all this meat they brought with them.
I'd say you've got 2 minutes to clean out before the fumes do you in. Of course, I'm feeling kind of
A big ham or roast or whatever that is. Oh, poor Harley. She thinks that Joker's actually come back for her. Batman, even though he escapes, he's been sunk into that toxic gunk that can't be good for him. And you see even the diamond that Harley stole at the beginning of the episode is there. It's unusual to see the Joker with the hat that back far on his head. Harley needn't worry. We've already established in this episode that Poison Ivy is immune to all toxins and poisons. And the Joker should know that, because she told him the story in Almost Got Him. Remember? How she's immune to poison. You must have just forgot. Kind of some wonky animation on Batman when he was leaping down like that, but smashed into the Joker's car. Stop shooting, you lunatic! We're sitting on a powder keg! That's such a great line. But the Joker doesn't care. He's a lunatic, like you said. Whoopsie! Dopey B! That's one of my most quoted lines. I say it all the time anytime I do something stupid. Man, Joker, when you blow the place up, you blow the place up. So Batman saves Joker. Well, what about Rocco and Henshaw? Where are they? Maybe they got away when I blinked or something. Oh. I don't know if that's a direct reference to the Lord of the Rings, but the whole no man can take us prisoner, and then they get caught by Montoya. I think that's pretty neat. I like that. Womp womp. So that was Harley and Ivy, and that wound up becoming the most, well, not the most, but one of the more important episodes of the show in hindsight. So Kevin Conroy is Batman, Robert Costanzo is Rocco, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred. Robert Costanzo usually is the voice of Bullock, so you might have recognized him as Rocco. Mark Hamill is the Joker, Ingrid Oliu as Renee Montoya, Diane Pershing as Poison Ivy, Neil Ross as the chairman, and Arlene Sorkin, our beloved Arlene Sorkin, as Harley Quinn. Neil Ross had a pretty prolific career in animated voice acting. The thing that I most know him for was he did a lot of voices on the G.I. Joe animated series, but most importantly, he was Shipwreck. And he also played the Green Goblin on the Spider-Man animated series that would debut a couple of years after this. So yeah, he's a dude worth remembering. So let's see, what's going to be our next episode is The Mechanic, and that's an episode I've been looking forward to. I keep talking about how anytime Lucius Fox shows up, I usually mention it, that I'm a big fan of Lucius Fox as he appeared in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, as portrayed by Morgan Freeman, one of my personal favorite actors. Probably one of your personal favorite actors as well, because he's a great actor. Most people love Morgan Freeman. Uh, so I kind of feel like this episode maybe inspired his portrayal in the movies a little bit. So, but you can tell me what you think when we catch the next episode. And if you want to make sure that you catch it, make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Hit that little bell if you want to make sure that you don't miss an episode. If you want to be notified anytime I go live, that'll be the way to do it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for today. We will talk to you next time. Bye.